Hey everybody, we have a new episode because we're going to start doing new ones like more than once a year, which is a good thing. So unless you have anything to add, I think we can get started.
No, I think we're all set. Go ahead.
So the good movie I'm going to talk about is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. It just came out on DVD, and I don't have it yet because we go to school in the middle of nowhere, whereas there's nowhere to buy anything except like root beers and blueberries.
There's a lot of blueberries.
Yeah, guess which state we're in. Anyway, the Harry Potter series has been a roller coaster. The first one was good, the second one was good, the third one was just like fucking Hiroshima. Fourth, fifth, and sixth, it looked like somebody like made movies out of the Spark Notes, you know. But the part one for the seventh movie, I thought it brought the series back to life. I went into the theater, I'm just like, this is going to be like the rest of the ones. But no, it wasn't. It was really good. It ended with an amazing cliffhanger.
It was really...
Yeah.
It was like the perfect spot to end
It was.
that part.
Cannot wait for part 2. I'm going to get part 1 on DVD as soon as I get out of the middle of nowhere. It was just great. I'm not going to talk too much about it, because if anyone hasn't read the books or seen the movie yet, you should, because the movie was pretty awesome. The book is even better.
Yeah.
So, the bad movie I'm going to talk about is, it was a low-budget, straight-to-DVD movie that I watched one day because I was incredibly bored, and it turned out to be one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made in my entire life. It is Titanic 2, and it's not a sequel to James Cameron's Titanic, so nobody panic. I just rhymed, I'm awesome. Basically, what happens is, it takes place in April of 2012, the 100th year anniversary of the first Titanic's voyage, which ended badly, as we all know. So they build a ship and they call it Titanic 2, and they're just like, oh, we're going to make it this time because we're awesome. No, that is not what happens at all. They go from New York and they go over there instead of vice versa. And pretty much what happens is they decide they're going to steer clear of the icebergs, but, whatever. Global warming, yes, they brought global warming into it. Okay. The polar ice caps start melting, and chunks of ice fall into the sea, and it creates a tsunami. And the tsunami carries with it an iceberg that smashes right into the Titanic 2. And originally they had enough lifeboats this time, but the iceberg destroyed half of them, so they only have half as many lifeboats.
Again.
So they evacuate everyone out into the lifeboats, and just the dialogue for this movie was awful. Just like what one person said to another person, it's like, oh, well, it looks like history is repeating itself. I was like, I knew it. I knew someone was going to say that. And then one of the chicks in the lifeboat is looking at the Titanic 2, and it's on fire, and she's all like, not again. It's like, oh, right, because you were there the first time. Dumb shit. Anyway, global warming, again, bigger ice chunks fall into the ocean, bigger tsunami, mega tsunami, as they call it. It comes, and I can just imagine how the staff meeting for this part went. Just like, hey, dude, you know in James Cameron's Titanic, when the stern is just like sticking up in the air?
Yeah?
We're going to one-up that. Okay.
Really?
The Titanic 2, it's going to be upside down.
Oh my god, I love it. Let's do it.
Yeah. So the mega tsunami hits. The Titanic 2 is on its back, just floating there upside down. It's like... it was just... It's almost as bad as Halloween 2, to be honest.
Almost.
It's a gross movie.
Halloween 2 is still worse.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah.
God.
So, a movie that I think should happen, and I'm being completely sarcastic this episode, is Titanic 3. I mean, come on, go for the trilogy. Basically, what I think should happen is the Titanic 3 should be like a sister ship of the Starship Enterprise, right? And it's being built in space, And while it's being built, people are on the polar ice caps, and then they find Jack Dawson just doing a Han Solo there in the ice, just like, and then they unfreeze him, and while it's being built, like, he goes to, like, super space pilot captain school crap, and then he becomes captain of the Titanic 3. Then it sails off on its maiden voyage into space, and then it hits a space iceberg, and it blows up, and everybody dies because they don't have any lifeboats.
Space iceberg.
Yeah. And have, like, John Williams do a Celine Dion ripoff. Okay, that's what I got.
Okay.
You're done.
Alright. So I'm actually prepared completely this time. Yeah, I know. So, first, the good game that I'm going to do, it's another old game, but it's amazing and awesome and stuff. It's Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. And I first played this game when I was like, I don't know, little, anyway. And I was like, oh my god, you can be the other things! Because I didn't know, like, the word for species or races or whatever. So I was just like, oh my god, you can be the other things, that's so cool! And I just played the crap out of it. And fell in love with the thing. I don't know. It's an amazing game. It can hold up on its own next to the one before it, Ocarina of Time, because it's just as good. I mean, it seems a little weird, and people sometimes don't like it because of the whole time limit thing, but it's not really a time limit because it's just time structure, and you can go back in time, so you have as much time as you need. You just have to get the timing of things right. Time.
I haven't played it. Just go with what he says.
It is good. And it's just it plays like Ocarina of Time, just with different stuff, I guess. You know, new story. It's pretty sweet. And there's the whole main idea is like there's all these masks that have special effects that they do, and it's really cool. Anyway, so now for the bad game that I'm gonna do. It's from the same franchise, unfortunately. It's Legend of Zelda: The Four Swords Adventures, which was on Game Boy Advance, I think, and GameCube. They sucked at it. It was like a horrible, misguided attempt at a multiplayer Zelda game that did not work at all. I think, anyway.
I'm all for a multiplayer Zelda game, just
not
one.
like that one.
Yeah.
Sucked. Anyway, it's basically Link is best friends with Zelda at the start, and they're like, woo, party, town carnival or something. And then Zelda's like, oh my god, I sense a disturbance in the force. She's like, we gotta go check out this place where this monster is all locked up and stuff. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, this shadow version of Link pops out and nabs the princess. So Link takes the sword that's sealing up the bigger, meaner monster out of the keyhole, and then holds it up and turns into 4 Links. Which, it's like, what? Okay, that's a little cool, but the way they do it, it doesn't work, because it's like handheld style, like crappy 2D and no fun. And to even play multiplayer on the GameCube thing, you gotta have 4 separate Game Boy Advances with cables connecting them to the GameCube, and it just makes no sense at all. I mean, why can't you have just controllers like normal people? Come on. If it's going to be on the console and it's going to be multiplayer, use the controllers, not something else that you have to pay like $55 billion more for. Anyway, now before I launch into the game I want to see happen, it takes a little explaining. For people who are familiar with the Legend of Zelda franchise, you probably know that no one's really sure what the timeline is. I mean, most people seem to think that at Ocarina of Time it splits into two timelines with the child Link and the adult Link. I disagree. I think it's all one timeline. Straight. Line. Timeline. Not timelines. No. What I think it is when, and this is kind of a spoiler if anybody hasn't played Ocarina of Time, but sorry. You should play it anyway. So, at the end, when Zelda sends Link back in time to relive his childhood, I feel like she's sending him back to just after he went into the Temple of Time and got stuck there for the 7 years. And so my theory is he's out there running around doing his thing in like Majora's Mask and stuff, which happens right after, while the other him is still in the Temple of Time just chilling there for 7 years. And so after that 7 years is up, there's two of them. Two Links running around at the same time. So what I kind of want to see is like the two Links in the same adventure. 3D, awesome sauce, you know.
That would be cool.
Just running around like almost like Four Swords, but not sucky. You know, and have them face off against Ganondorf, who somehow maybe clones himself or something. I don't know.
We'll leave it to
We'll leave it to them. But just to work with that possibility and make a game with just two Links instead of four.
You know what's sad? I think Four Swords Adventure would have been even better if the dialogue actually was the way you described it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did a poor job describing how shitty that game really is. So,
but it made
just
it sound.
Don't get it.
It made it sound better than it was.
Yeah,
that's the sad part.
I gave it too much credit.
I mean, it's like the video game version of Halloween 2.
Yeah, it is. Let's face it. All right, so that's what I got.
All right, and just let it be noted that straight men can wear leather.
Yeah. All right.
We're all set.
Next
Till
time,
next
people.
time.